Evil Eye is easily one of the most slept on decks this format. With the ability to control whatever your opponent does and still have one-shot capabilities, I think that this is a strong contender in the meta. In this deck profile, we're going to be going over the deck profile, obviously, as well as the budget options and combo tutorials. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then make sure you destroy that subscribe button. But also, be sure to hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. I also want to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. So without further ado, I present to you a competitive Evil Eye deck profile for this format. Starting off with the monsters, we're going to open up with 3 copies of Surza, Watcher of the Evil Eye. Yes, this guy is kind of mandatory because upon his normal summon, he allows you to add 1 Evil Eye card from your deck to your hand. Also, when he is equipped with Cicilline, he allows you to destroy special summon monsters. The only drawback is that you have to destroy cards on the opposite turn that you use his effect. A lot of people like to run like True Draco or Unchained cards with it, and I don't think that's a bad idea. I do, in fact, side the artifacts for in case that you do brick them, you can just use Surza to destroy an opponent's card, and then on the following turn, destroy your artifact cards, which will trigger their effects. Ultimately, I think that a pure version is still really good, though, because Evil Eye has quite a few tricks thanks to Chaos Impact. 2 copies of Medusa, Watcher of Evil Eye. This card's a walking DD Crow. I mean, when it's equipped with your Celine, you're allowed to banish a card in your opponent's graveyard. And in this format, that can be critical. It can be the deciding reason to why you win or lose a game, being able to banish their clutch cards. The drawback is that you have to banish a card from your graveyard, which I guess that's not really a drawback. Now, we do run quite a few familiars. Basilisk, Familiar of the Evil Eye, is a very powerful card. Not only is this card a free special summon by controlling an Evil Eye monster, it can send Evil Eye spell and trap cards from your deck to the graveyard, which actually comes up. And then lastly is 1 copy of Catalbliss, the Familiar of the Evil Eye. This guy can protect your Evil Eye spell and trap cards, but he can also special summon himself from the graveyard back to the side of the field for plays. Now, the reason why we run the familiar cards as opposed to not running them is because making Evil Eye links is really important. Gorgon Empress of the Evil Eyed is a very powerful card, but we'll talk about that later. For the hand traps, I run 2 copies of Thanos. Of course, we'll have budget options, ladies and gentlemen, but Thanos is probably one of the better hand traps because it does provide you a monster on your side of the field during your opponent's turn, which you can later use for Evil Eye plays. It also allows you to dig into your deck, as you guys should know. For the people that are looking for budget options, cards like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, Ghost Ogre, and Snow Rabbit, if you guys really need a hand trap, are pretty good, or you can just run more Evil Eye cards because they're not bad at all. I also run 2 copies of Nibiru, the Primal Being, because more often than not, if you're tributing all monsters in the field, tributing your monsters is going to be a small price to pay for salvation, especially since you're ruining your opponent's board. That's it for the monsters at 12, which allows the deck to be very flexible. I'm telling you guys, the fact that this deck is pretty searchable, being able to get into its critical cards with only 12 monsters in the deck allows you to play a lot of disruption. For the field spell, I play 4 copies of Evil Eye Domain. The 4th was obviously Terraforming to search it, but this is the reason where the magic, or this is the reason why the magic happens. The first thing is that when this card is activated, you get to add an Evil Eye monster from your deck to your hand, so it's a reinforcement of the army. But if your opponent is to inflict battle damage to you, your opponent will also take the battle damage as well. That effect is, it's alright. The main effect is if it's destroyed, you can add 1 Evil Eye monster from your graveyard to your hand. If you guys remember, I was talking about how the Evil Eye Surza has a drawback of destroying your own cards. Well, if you already have monsters in the graveyard, being able to destroy your own domain will allow you to add an Evil Eye monster from your graveyard to your hand and push for some huge combos. Next is 2 copies of Evil Eye Awakening. This card is amazing. It allows you to special summon an Evil Eye monster from your hand or graveyard, but if you also have Celine on your field, you can special summon an Evil Eye monster from your deck. It tutors so many plays, and one of the best combos of this deck is to open up with 2 Celines on your Evil Eye Empress and also your Evil Eye Surza, and this card helps you accomplish that. Only 2 copies of Evil Eye Celine. I do fear Cosmic Cyclone, so I might want to bump this up to 3, but this card is insanely good. The drawback in its good side is that every time you activate an Evil Eye monster that's equipped to this card, Or if you activate an Evil Eye spell card, you take 500 damage, but it complements so well with Evil Eye Gorgiano, which makes your monsters gain the difference between your life points of your opponents. So a lot of times you can bring your life points down to around the 6 to 4,000-ish range with Evil Eye Selene, and then you activate Gorgiano, and your monsters gain 4,000 attack. It literally allows you to one-shot your opponent. But moving back to Selene, it prevents your monster from being destroyed by battle or opponent's card effects, almost making your monsters invincible. Next is that 2 copies of Gorgoneo. This card is really good because of its one-shot potential, but I actually do love its graveyard effect. Being able to banish it will allow you to search any Evil Eye card from your deck to your hand, or is it just Evil Eye? Yeah, it's Evil Eye spell or trap cards. So having this card in your graveyard allows you to search your field spell, which again can start off with your combos. 2 copies of Evil Eye Confrontation. I was going to run 1 copy of Confrontation and 1 copy of Cosmic Cyclone, but I went with just the Evil Eye Confrontation because it's amazing. It allows you to destroy spells or trap cards. You should always have an Evil Eye monster in your field, and then it's a Cosmic Cyclone by controlling the Selene. Next, outside of the Evil Eye cards, we do play 3 copies of Mind Control. This card's excellent for going second, especially since my Link monster only requires 1 Evil Eye monster. The other one can be whatever I want. I can snatch their monster, break their board, and make my main Link monster. 3 copies of Super Polymerization, because this deck does not care about the extra deck. And again, I can fuse my opponent's monsters for a monster of my own, summon my Evil Eye monster, and then make my Gorgon. From there, it's 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance, and I know people are probably looking at me like, TheCaliEffect, how do I afford this deck now? The budget option would probably be Pot of Duality. That would be the next best thing. But you could also play cards like Upstart Goblin, and then you have 2 blank spots, maybe 2 Pot of Dualities to do whatever you wish. Ultimately, if you're a Sub-Terror player, I mean, you pretty much have this deck with your Pot of Extravagances. After that, we play 1 copy of my tech card, Foolish Burial Goods. I'm gonna level with you guys. Foolish Burial Goods, and it was the 2nd copy of Evil Eye Gorgoneo, or actually Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. I decided to cut them because Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring is trash, but again, we'll make that video. This card allows you to send your Gorgoneo to the graveyard, which is a reinforcement of the army. It also allows you to send your Evil Eye Selene, which can be set to your side of the field for free. It just has so much synergy with the deck. I really do enjoy this card because it gets you into what you need. That's it for the spells. For the traps, I actually only run 3 copies of Solemn Judgment and 3 copies of Crackdown. Now, the theory behind Solemn Judgment or Solemn Strike is that it gets me lower in life points while negating some of my opponent's critical cards. That can be game. I don't run Solemn Judgment because paying half of your life points can be pretty deadly, seeing that your Evil Eye cards require you to pay life points. Solemn Strike is a really good substitute and sets me up for one-shotting while also disrupting my opponent. And then 3 copies of Crackdown. There actually is an Evil Eye version of this. I decided to play no Evil Eye traps, though I think the one that negates the opponent's spell and trap cards could be ran at 1 in place of a Crackdown or maybe a Strike, but that's pretty much it. Crackdown pretty much serves the exact same purpose of Mind Control, snatching my opponent's monster so I can use for whatever I wish. That is it for the main board, ladies and gentlemen. On to the extra deck. As you guys know, we do run Pot of Extravagance, so we play accordingly. 3 copies of Gorgus, Empress of the Evil Fiend. This card is amazing while equipped to Selene. It is an effect veiler, being able to negate your opponent's cards, but if they also have a monster to where it's points to, it can destroy it as well. And saying that you don't play too many monsters to your side of the field, just never put a monster to where Gorgus, Empress of the Evil Fiend points to. 1 copy of Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax, and I guess it comes up. Nightmare Unicorn. Actually, just rewinding, pick up this card before it's too late, ladies and gentlemen. I'm dead serious. Buy this card before it's too late. Nightmare Unicorn is amazing. Zerzio, Ruler of the Evil Eyed. I never played this card, but in theory, it helps you one-shot a little better. 2 copies of Cerberus, 2 copies of Starving Venom, 2 copies of Mud Dragon, 1 copy of Predaplant Jagastapelia, 1 copy of Trippy Boy, and then 1 copy of Solomon Great Violet Chimera. That is it for the main board and the extra deck. Now I'm going to show you guys a few combos. And by a few combos, I really mean a few combos because, you know, this deck doesn't have a lot. Okay, guys, so our main combo is our best combo. It requires like any combination of these cards. Obviously, you don't want to open something like this, but like a good combination of these cards will get you it. I'm actually just going to use this, this, and this. Sure, just to show you how good this combo can be. I'm going to go ahead and start off by activating Domain, Evil Eye Domain to add Surzel to my hand. And then I will go ahead and normal summon Surzel to add Evil Eye Awakening. From there, I'll equip it with Evil Eye Selene and then activate Evil Eye Awakening. That'll allow me to special summon Evil Eye Catalyst to my side of the field. Since I do control an Evil Eye monster, I'll special summon Basilisk to my side of the field, using Basilisk's effect to send an Evil Eye Selene from my deck to the graveyard. From there, I'll use both of these monsters for a link summon, right into my summon of Gorkus, Empress of the Evil Eye. After that, I can activate the Selene, paying 1,000 life points to set the Selene back to my side of the field. I'll lose 500 life points as well and banish my Evil Eye Awakening, because I'll lose it when I activate the Selene. And the Selene will equip to the Gorkus, Empress of the Evil Eye. Now, this is the board that you guys want to start off with. I have 2 disruptions, Gorkus, Empress of the Evil Eye, which allows me to negate an opponent's monster, and Surza Watcher of the Evil Eye, which is a little beefed up and allows me to destroy special summon monsters. These monsters cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. My opponent also can't target these cards. And even on the following turn, I get to use the effect of, if I've used the effect of Surza, I get to use this effect again to destroy Domain. Domain will add Basilisk, and then I can continue on with even more plays. Hypothetically, I can special summon the Basilisk, and if this card is strong enough, I can go ahead and link all of these off for the summon of my Zerxal. And with a little bit more help, you probably want this over here just to make sure Zerxal doesn't point to it. And with a little bit more help, I can actually just one-shot my opponent and go for game. Hypothetically, if I did have access to Gorgoneo, which isn't really hard to do, you just equip the Gorgoneo to the Zerxal and my life points are already different than my opponent's, and that would be game. Alright guys, so since I am forced into another combo, because I did say a few, we're going to go ahead and show you how powerful Foolish Burial Goods is, and the reason why I actually want to run more copies of Foolish Burial Goods. I definitely will run a second copy, but this particular combo is going to require goods in any Evil Eye card in your hand. What you do is activate Foolish Burial Goods to send Evil Eye Gorgoneo to the graveyard, using the effect of Gorgoneo to pitch to Evil Eye Confrontation. That'll allow you to add Evil Eye Domain. Following up, you activate the Evil Eye Domain to add the Surza from your deck to your hand. Then you normal summon the Surza, of course, to add the Selene. With those 2 cards, you got your Evil Eye Domain, Surza, and your Evil Eye Selene to your side of the field. So you can have some pretty good combos going forward. Okay, guys, so for the last combo, this deck really isn't a combo-based deck. So, like, the combos become really clunky. It's going to require a combination of these, any 4 of these cards just about. I'll be able to show you how this deck can OTK your opponent by reducing its own life points. For all intents and purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and use these 4 cards, and there are so many ways to get into these, it's just insane. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and start off by normal summoning Surza Watcher of the Evil Eye. I'll be able to add my Evil Eye Awakening from my deck to my hand, and then I'm going to go ahead and activate my Evil Eye Selene, equipping it to the Surza. Now, the reason why I did that before I activated the Domain is because I want to take that damage. So that's 500 damage. I know I'm a masochist right now, and I'll use the effect of Evil Eye Domain to be able to add Basilisk from my deck to my hand. I can now special summon Basilisk to my side of the field, using its effect to send Selene to the graveyard, and then I'll activate Evil Eye Awakening. I'm sorry, my apologies. We'll activate Basilisk's effect, sending an Evil Eye card from our decks to the graveyard. I like to send my Evil Eye Awakening number 2, just because odds are I won't use the second one. Then I'll pay 1,000 life points, banishing the Awakening to set the Selene to my side of the field. So we're just going to go ahead and put this up to 1,500 damage already taken. We'll activate the Evil Eye Awakening, which is going to put us at 2,000 to special summon to our side of the field Catapults. Now we're going to go ahead and use both of these monsters for a link summon into our Gorgon, Empress of Evil Eye. And then we'll follow up by activating our Evil Eye Selene. How'd this get back to our side of the field? Oh, looks like I'm pretty sure we could have did this with less cards. Oh, no, we banished Awakening. No, we're right. But it looks like, yeah, we could have did this with less cards if I did this correctly. But yeah, that'll put 6 counters on this card. We'll go ahead and follow up with 8 counters because we will take 1,000 damage off of Evil Eye Selene. And congratulations, we are at half our life points, ladies and gentlemen, meaning that both of these cards will gain, or one of these cards will gain exactly 4,000 attack points. And if you use either of these monsters' effects, they'll gain even more attack points from the Gorgoneo, and you'll be able to rid your opponent's board. That's pretty much it. Again, this deck is not really combo based. It likes to restrict the opponent's gameplay. It disrupts, and more importantly, even after negating their board, it can one-shot your opponent and go for game. Something that other anti-meta decks don't have. Well, thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like this video up and share with a friend. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am.